Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Command Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, Tales of Middle-earth, I think that's what the actual set is called. Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, whatever it's called. Spoiler season continues on, and yeah, we've got some really exciting things. And, yeah, Wizards, did slow down treasures in some ways if they found out that it might be a little problematic. But here's one big thing that can make an absurd amount of treasures in a very cool way. I will give you that. Now, there are certain commanders out there that are going to be chomping at the bit for this card because, my goodness, 14 treasures. Let's jump into it. There and Back Again is a brand new exciting saga from this set. It costs 3 red. It says, I mean, obviously, as a saga enters the battlefield, and after you draw a step, you get a lore counter on. Everyone knows how sagas work now, right? Here we go. First lore counter, up to 1 target creature can't block for as long as you control There and Back Again, the ring tempts you. So you get tempted by the ring. It's a nice additional kind of effect. You know, the ring bearer kind of thing goes on. We've talked about that in previous episodes. Hey, not being able to block, that's actually a big deal for certain times and certain effects and certain creatures. Next up, the second lore counter, search life for a mountain card on the battlefield, then shuffle. Now, 5 mana to ramp 1 card. Not all that great. That being said, keep in mind it does say mountain card. It does not specify basic mountain, so if you do keep that in mind, that is slightly better. And then finally, the third lore counter, and this is what really matters. This is what you came here for. Create Smaug, a legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying, haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. My goodness. And those treasures don't come into play tapped, so you can utilize them right away. Now, yeah, sure, a 6/6 flying hasty dragon is nice, but you know what I want is 14 treasures. And sometimes I want a lot more than that, because this is very easily used and abused, and there are certain commanders out there that are going to love this card and be able to do absurd things with it. Oh my gosh, the potential for this just makes me scared. And there's one deck that Eddie has that definitely is going to want this card, and yeah, it's going to be very scary if this can ever be pulled off. So, yeah, get ready for some Smaug, not Smaug Tribal, but like Smaug crazy shenanigans, treasure crazy shenanigans. There's a lot of crazy things you can do with this. Obviously, Saga Tribal is going to love this card as well. Let's jump into some of these decks, though, and let's jump into some synergies it's going to have that you might want to consider. First up, and the first one that came to my mind, is Brutaclad Telcor Engineer. Yeah, Eddie's got a Brutaclad deck, and this seems to be pretty good in it if it can be pulled off. Again, yeah, it does take some time to get those lore counters on it. That being said, if you have any proliferate effects as well, keep that in mind. Regardless, Brutaclad is a 4/4 Artificer that costs 6 and says creature tokens you control have haste, well, 4 blue, red. I was just, quickening that. Anyway, so at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Okay, so basically, what you need to do is you need to get your Smaug out, right? Cool, Smaug's in play. Great, all right, that's fine. Cool, all right. And then also, if you've got Brutaclad, you probably have other tokens. Let's just assume that you don't have that, though, okay? Let's just assume you don't, and that's fine. You probably do, but you don't. So you get your 2/1 mirror combat, right? You make that mirror into a copy of Smaug, and guess what? The legend rule applies, obviously, because Smaug is legendary, and all of a sudden, you are sacrificing your new Smaug in making 14 treasure tokens. And, yeah, that is not all, because obviously if you go to another combat, I mean with an extra combat essentially, or, just on your next turn, even without any other ways to generate tokens, now you've got 14 treasures, right? Let's say you didn't use any of them for mana. Then you make, another mirror on combat. You have 15 separate tokens now from Smaug, and then you make all 15 of those tokens into a copy of Smaug. Now you've got, what, 15 times 14 is a lot? 140 plus 70 is 210. Check me in the console if that math is correct, but I believe that's right. So then you've got 210 treasure tokens. And again, this is a base level on what this can do without any other token generation. And in a Brutaclad deck, you're going to have plenty of ways to make a lot of tokens. So let's say you start off with 10 tokens in play and you got your other token. My goodness, this is a easy way, once you get to that third lower counter, get Smaug out, to just say, I win. Basically, because you can make an absurd amount of treasures, you can cast a ton of things. Of course, in your next combat, if your opponents aren't gone from that, you're gonna make even more. Yeah, this seems like a great card, a great finisher for a deck like this. Again, if you can pull it off. Next up, Jax is the troublemaker, even in mono red. Yeah, you can do some crazy things with this. Pay a red, tap, discard a card, create tokens, copy on the target creature you control. It gains haste, and when this creature dies, draw a card. Sacrifice to get an extensive, active on the sorcery. You can also blitz this out if you want to. But yeah, hey, all you need to do is hit single red, tap, discard a card, and guess what? Well, you draw a card. It's basically like a rummaging effect. But also, you get 14 treasures. Just by making a copy of your legendary Smaug, it's going to get sacrificed. You make your 14 treasures. You just paid 1 mana to rummage and make 14 treasures. And of course, if you've got ways to untap this, which you probably do, this can be quite repeatable. So yeah, have fun with that. I'm sure there's some infinite ways you can go with this as well. Making 14 treasures for basically nothing is just pretty crazy. Moving on, Duke Older Raven God. I don't know why I always think about it, I should say it like that, but I just do. It sounds like a very regal name. Duke Older Raven God. A 5/5 human noble soldier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and myriad until end of turn. So haste is nice. Smaug already has haste. But yeah, giving it myriad is pretty gross because again, whenever it attacks for each opponent other than defending player, you may create tokens copy of that creature that's tapped and attacking that player. Planeswalker they control exile tokens in combat. It's not going to get that far because, again, you're going to swing with Smaug. You get 2 more token copies of Smaug that are attacking other players. Again, assuming you've got 3 opponents still. And guess what? You just made 28 treasures because they have to be sacrificed again. Thanks to Legend Rule. 28 treasures just for going to combat. Yeah, that is an absurd amount of, well, temporary ramp. But yeah, you're going to be able to use that to probably win the game from there. Next up, Geared Conclave Exile. Yet another commander, another kind of commander that can utilize this with a different kind of aspect. A 2/5 human shaman enters the battlefield. You make a 4/4 green round control with trample. Cute. But also, when it attacks, populate the token, enters the battlefield, tap and attacking again. Populating means that you create a token that's copied by a creature token you control. Again, Smaug is inherently a creature token. And it is legendary. So again, populate, make the copy of it, and then make 14 treasures. And of course, yeah, if you're running a gear deck, you've got a lot of other ways to populate. We'll talk about another one here in a little bit. But yes, there's so many different ways that you can have really cool, crazy synergies with this crazy creature token that has an absurd death trigger. And just think about, certain commanders out there that might really care about death triggers and maybe I'll be able to double them up. I mean, I guess it probably doesn't fit in there because it's red. But, like Taste decks and that kind of stuff. If you've got a deck that's like Aristocrats that includes, like maybe a Mardu Aristocrats deck, yeah, you got access to Teysa. You've got access to that other, it's not Drivnut. Is it Drivnut? I can't remember. Can I remember what those new, like Phyrexian, like Lord kind of thingies are? I can't remember what they're even called. There's been a lot of cards lately, but yeah, there's also one that doubles up death triggers too. So yeah, keep that in mind. Moving on, a new commander from this, so Tom Bombadil, already $25, sheesh. 4/4 God Bard, because that's the thing that is Wooburg. So yeah, you get access to all the juicy things. As long as there are 4 more lore counters among sagas you control, Tom Bombadil has Hexproof Indestructible. Yeah, you're gonna have that if you got Saga Tribal. On top of that, whenever the final chapter ability of a saga you control resolves, reveal cards top of your library to reveal a saga card. Put that card on the battlefield, the rest of them on your library in random order. Ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, this commander can be fantastic at, first of all, getting sagas out. Secondly, you're going to have ways to proliferate to get more counters on those sagas. Thirdly, you're going to have ways to get those sagas back. So have fun getting more and more and more copies of Smaug and getting just that back again and again and again. Now, outside of commanders, let's just talk about certain synergies. I've already kind of mentioned some, but of course there's other ways that you can really work with this brand new, well, token, creature, legendary Smaug. Blade of Selves. Again, I talked about Myriad. This is a great repeatable one as well. Equip it for 4. Equip creature as Myriad. Again, 1 swing equals, again, assuming 3 opponents, 28 treasures. Absolutely crazy. Next up, Determinate Iteration. Oh, I wish this was budget friendly. It was for like half a second. Wizards, please reprint. I love this card. Enchantment for 1 in red. Beginning of combat, your turn, populate the token created. This way gains haste, sacrifice being the next end step. Again, you're not going to get that far. You make a token copy of Smaug. It dies right away. 14 treasures. Just again, for this 2 mana enchantment being in play, every single one of your turns, once you've got Smaug in there, equals 14 treasures for free, essentially. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of great populated effects, a lot of great repeatable populated effects. I mean, that one centaur, there's a centaur that has like pay 2 and a green, exile a creature from my graveyard, populate. I don't know why I didn't bring that up here, but yeah, if you have access to green in this kind of a deck as well, hey, yeah, that's basically not infinite populate, but that is populate for every single creature in a graveyard. Get rid of all those creatures, make that many, treasures. I guess whatever. It's 14 minus 3. That's 11 treasures for each of those instances, essentially. Gross. Absolutely gross. Next up, Twin Flame. a copy creature spell, even a temporary one like this. Again, doesn't matter. You're copying a legendary creature. You know, basically this one also you can strive to if you really want to. But yeah, copy a creature, a temporary, you know, it's going to be sacrificed. You know what I mean. Anyways, 2 mana, make 14 treasures. An amazing ritual effect, essentially. An amazing way to just store up a ton of mana. Next up, quasi-duplicate again. Hey, any kind of a clone spell like this. Even a permanent one, again, doesn't matter. You lose the copy. 3 mana, make a copy of Smaug. Cool. Make 14 treasures. Awesome. Oh, also, you can jumpstart this by recasting your graveyard for 3 and discarding a card. Definitely worth it. Make another 14 treasures. So again, for the cost of 6 mana and discarding a card, you just made 28 treasures. You just net what, 22? 22 treasures just for playing this? Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of crazy things you can do with this. And I didn't even mention, like, hey, annoying procession type cards, ones that double up not only tokens that you're making. So again, when you make Smaug right then and there, 14 treasures, because you make a token copy of it as well. On top of that, if you have any other, you know, populated effects, you have token generating effects, copy effects, keep making more and more treasures. Absolutely absurd. Oh, and I, of course, I was going to mention that, and I just forgot about it. But yeah, annoying procession also, of course, doubles up the treasures. Again, I said 14. But again, if you literally have annoying procession out, you make Smaug. Hey, you make 2 copies of Smaug. You sacrifice one of them. You make 28 treasures because it doubles that up too. So yeah, doubling season type effects, annoying procession. Those kind of cards, of course, are absurd and are getting more and more absurd lately. And yeah, so again, whether it is, you know, Saga Tribal, whether it is, you know, like Brutaclad, like token kind of generating shenanigans, whether it's any of those other screeners I mentioned, or yeah, just a card that can be really taken advantage of in a lot of ways. Populate, Myriad, goodness, a lot of really cool things that you can do with it. So yeah, this is a really cool card. I like the flavor of it. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I am not looking forward to going up against it if Eddie has control of it and Smaug comes out in Brutaclad. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about this one. Yeah, comment below, yeah, with your thoughts about this and all the other spoilers so far. Make sure you're staying tuned to this channel for even more quick takes and spoilers coming out. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.